The specific legal forms required to complete a divorce without a lawyer, also called a pro se divorce, depend on your location, which can be your state and sometimes county. Here is a general guide, but I recommend checking with your local courthouse or family law self-help center for the exact forms and requirements in your area. Step 1. Determine the type of divorce. An uncontested divorce is when both spouses agree on issues like property division, child custody, and support. On the other hand, a contested divorce involves disputes over major issues. Additional paperwork and hearings may be required. Step 2. Obtain the initial divorce forms. The names of forms can vary by state, but these are common documents. 1. Petition or complaint for divorce. This form starts the divorce process and outlines the basic information about your marriage, for example, the date of marriage and grounds for divorce. Common names include petition for dissolution of marriage and complaint for divorce. 2. Summons. This notifies your spouse that you have filed for divorce and explains their responsibility to respond. Some states require you to serve your spouse with this document formally, for instance through a process server or certified mail. 3. Proof of service or affidavit of service. Once your spouse is served, you must complete this form to verify they received the documents. Step 3. Financial disclosures and support forms. Divorce usually requires you and your spouse to disclose your financial information. 4. Financial affidavit or statement. This details your income, expenses, assets, and debts. It helps determine property division, alimony, and child support. 5. Child support worksheet if applicable. This calculates child support based on income, number of children, and custody arrangements. Many states have an online calculator or worksheet. 6. Parenting plan or custody agreement if applicable. This outlines how custody, visitation, and decision-making responsibilities for children will be handled. Step 4. Agreements and settlement forms. If your divorce is uncontested or you reach an agreement, you will need these forms. First, the Marital Settlement Agreement, or MSA. This document outlines how property, debts, and other issues are divided. Both spouses must sign this agreement. Next, if applicable, you will need the Stipulation or Agreement for Custody and Support. This records agreements about custody, visitation, and child support. Step 5. Finalizing the divorce. Once the divorce terms are agreed upon or decided by the court, you need to complete these forms. The first is the Judgment of Divorce or Decree of Dissolution of Marriage. This is the final court order that officially ends the marriage. Next, you have the Notice of Entry of Judgment, which confirms that the divorce judgment has been entered by the court. Finally, there's the Certificate of Divorce or Dissolution. Some states require this form for their records, and you may need it for future purposes like changing your name. Optional or state-specific forms. Request for waiver of filing fees. If you can't afford court fees, you can apply for a fee waiver. Motion for temporary orders. If you need temporary arrangements for support, custody, or property use while the divorce is ongoing, motion for default. If your spouse does not respond to the divorce filing within the required time frame, name change request to revert to your maiden or former name. Step 6. File the forms and serve your spouse. File. Submit the completed forms to the clerk of the court. Pay the filing fee or apply for a fee waiver. Serve. Legally deliver the forms to your spouse. Check your state's requirements for proper service. Step 7. Attend court hearings if necessary. Some states require a final hearing to review and approve the divorce terms. Bring all documentation with you. Resources for finding forms. Your state court website. Most states provide downloadable divorce forms. Look for a self-help or family law section. Local courthouse. Visit the clerk's office to request a divorce packet. Legal aid organizations. They often provide free resources and guidance for pro-se divorces. By carefully completing and filing these forms, you can successfully navigate the divorce process without a lawyer. Let me know if you'd like help finding the forms specific to your state.